You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. This episode was updated Thursday, April 18th, and now includes international measurements of rain millimeters, along with some other updates and some entertaining sound effects. For those of us that have a natural interest in heat and humidity, especially the type like a Bermuda high here in the United States, the Gulf of Mexico humidity, combining with high pressure here in the Midwest, which when it acts as an extension of the Bermuda high, it produces even additional humidity from the Midwest Corn Belt, especially when the high-pressure ridge goes high enough into the atmosphere that it prevents thunderstorm development, as what happened in July 1995. The Midwest Corn Belt is one of the most fascinating things on this planet. But regarding oceans and seawater, the Caspian Sea could very well be the winner, but by others, the Persian Gulf. India also is on a very high level, but it's impossible to overlook the United Arab Emirates, which sits right along the Persian Gulf. The Persian Gulf has the hottest water temperatures in the world. Temperatures go into the 90s, water temperatures in the 90s, sometimes even upper 90s. Holy cow! You will now hear an extract from an episode from 2021, which discusses some of the Persian water temperatures. It is Tuesday, July 20th here. Overnight lows are only dropping into the mid-90s. Why are temperatures only dropping into the 90s? It's because the city is on the Persian Gulf. The Persian Gulf consists of the hottest temperatures in the world. The seawater temperatures generally in the month of July range from 87 to 93 degrees, and temperatures in some areas of the Persian Gulf, the water temperatures go up to 95 degrees on occasion. There have been reports of water temperatures in the upper 90s. So we're talking about, they say the water temperatures are between 30 and 35 degrees Celsius, which is 86 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Water temperature today, depending on the source that you're looking at, is approximately 91 degrees, 92 degrees, some say 90. We've taken a look at the weather forecasts many times for the city of Dubai in United Arab Emirates and noticed that the temperature sometimes does not drop under 95 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
95 degrees Fahrenheit is equivalent to 35 degrees Celsius. This means that there was a week, maybe even weeks, where the temperature never dropped at night. The temperature never went under 35 degrees Celsius, and the heat indices remained above 30, well, in Fahrenheit, above 100 degrees, which would be above 38 degrees Celsius through the night. And this is an area which is also getting humidity, sometimes even a dew point of 80 degrees, which dew point of 80 degrees Fahrenheit is equivalent to a dew point of about 27 or 28 degrees Celsius. It's a measure of humidity. It is something that's a rarity here in the United States. Even on the Gulf Coast, dew points generally remain in the 70s, except for perhaps Galveston, Texas, and when heat waves occur over the Midwest Corn Belt in years which are non-drought years, dew points could soar well into the 80s. Classically speaking, makes the temperature feel 20 to 25 degrees hotter than what it actually is. This would put the heat indices at 50 degrees Celsius, sometimes even higher, sometimes 55 degrees Celsius along the Persian Gulf. And here in the that would be equivalent to 122 degrees Fahrenheit and sometimes 131 degrees Fahrenheit or even higher. That's the type of heat index we'd be dealing with. Something very similar to what happened here in Texas over this past summer, which was something, a total freak occurrence, really. One of the strangest things about a city like Dubai is the fact that there's so limited rainfall. In fact, the climate regarding rain, it resembles a desert climate. Not much rain at all during the year, with rainfall accumulations only about 3 or 4 inches a year. This would mean Dubai gets around 75 to 100 millimeters of rain per year. It's very shocking. It's just really mind-boggling, especially for those of us that are used to places like Florida, where the dew points are not even as high, but everyone knows all it takes is one thunderstorm and you get a big downpour.
Yes!
A superficial understanding, at the very least, could be that it's similar to what happened in the Midwest here during the heat wave July 1995, where meteorologists said, quote, unquote, it's just too hot for rain. That means the high pressure ridge, heat expands, and the ridge was going so far up into the atmosphere, it just wasn't able to rain. And that's just the superficial understanding. The temperatures are basically very similar. They basically have a 1995 heat wave, which was experienced even in Chicago, where heat indices went into the 120s. They have that as part of their climate. It happens every summer throughout the summer. The southeast winds, I believe it's the southeast winds, bring in that enormous amounts of humidity, especially towards the end of the summer. Well, the United Arab Emirates, this has been all over the news. We had a potent low pressure system that moved across that area, bringing a historical rain event to that region. Just to read to you some of the totals, this comes from AccuWeather. These are the 48 rainfall totals in the Middle East. Marmal, Oman, 13.61 inches. Chabahar, Iran, Chahbahar, Iran, 12.36 inches. Jask, Iran, or however people pronounce it, Iran. I've heard both pronunciations, 8.19 inches. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, 6.45 inches. And Qamyaira, Oman, 5.44 inches. In millimeters for Dubai, 164 millimeters. In Marmal Airport, which is located near the oil fields in southern Oman, measured 13.61 inches, which is 345.8 millimeters. Chabahar on the coast of Iran reported 12.36 inches, which is 314 millimeters. Some of the places that have reported very high rainfall accumulations include the southeast portions of Iran, including Oman, portions of Saudi Arabia as well, and especially the United Arab Emirates. Highest amounts were really by Oman, and we also had some 10 plus inches of rain by the southeast portions of Iran. All these areas are along the Persian Gulf. This was a low-pressure system that moved across the Arabian Peninsula and the Gulf of Oman. This low-pressure system, of course, had a feed of moisture coming from those two warm bodies of water. But it also had a feed of moisture coming from the world's hottest body of water, which is the Persian Gulf. This is the case, actually, by just about any low-pressure system that moves across that area. The moisture comes from those oceans, from the world's warmest water temperatures, and the humidity skyrockets, the dew points skyrocket. There's an enormous amount of moisture that gets put into the atmosphere. In this case, we also had the jet stream, which came a little bit further south and helped intensify the storm, along with cold air aloft. Cold air aloft is always going to increase those precipitation rates. As we know, when the cold air on the surface blows over relatively warmer waters, we have things called lake effect rain showers, lake effect snow showers. Those things come down very hard. When you have colder air not on the surface, but it's up in the sky, it doesn't have that intensity, that same impact, but it is similar. It intensifies storms and it intensifies precipitation rates. And in that area, you almost always have what we would call here lake enhancement, but it's really more like ocean enhancement. In fact, that's all you can get there. Every storm has a moisture feed from those oceans, so I doubt there's even a word for it, but there's just a lot of moisture available really at all times of the year. Almost all times of the year, you'll see areas around there which have high dew points. So we have a storm system. It was more potent than usual. We also had an upper low which collided with the surface low. That intensifies things when the low pressure in the upper atmosphere is aligned with the low pressure in the lower atmosphere. It helps squeeze the precipitation out. It helps produce more rain. But what we also had were the thunderstorms. And lightning. Lightning is something, this is said more by snow. It's just said by snow. It applies to rain just as well. By snow, meteorologist Dave Murray, KTVI chief meteorologist in St. Louis, has said that when there's thunder or lightning by snow, it opens the gates of heaven to the snow. The same thing is true by rain. It acts as a cloud seed, really, and it gets the precipitation going, and it acts as a very efficient precipitation maker. In fact, if you were to put cloud seeds, if you were to seed the clouds at a time when there's a thunderstorm, there's already lightning, it's very questionable whether that cloud seeds would do a thing in such a case. It's important to mention this, and we're going to get to that in a second. It's due to the United Arab Emirates. They are world leaders when it comes to cloud seeding. They lead the world by leaps and bounds. The only one exception, which they point out on their website, the meteorological department of United Arab Emirates points out that the King of Thailand, they also take cloud seeding seriously, and they have seen more success than any other place in the world. The following 1-minute segment is read straight from the United Arab Emirates Meteorological Department website. Rain enhancement has also been actively pursued by a number of other countries. Examples of these are China, which currently has a wide cloud seeding system. The United States, where cloud seeding is being used to increase precipitation in areas experiencing drought and to reduce the size of hailstones that form in thunderstorms. India, where rain enhancement operations have been successfully employed in recent years to boost rainfall levels in Andhra Pradesh, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, and Maharashtra states, Maharashtra. Thailand, where the enlightened and far-sighted role played by His Highness King Bhumibol, Bhumibol, of Thailand, has been instrumental in the development of Thailand's excellent record of successful operations to boost rainfall in water basins and agricultural areas. The reason why Israel does not currently use cloud seeding is because they did a study on it. They tried it out for a number of years, and it showed to be ineffective in Israel. So for their climate, it was not effective. That information comes from the Israel Meteorological Department website, or the Meteorological Service website. Although this particular time, the United Arab Emirates says they did not use cloud seeding, we're now going to listen to a 1 to 2 minute extract from an episode done in the summer of 2021, where we spoke about where they did do cloud seeding, and it led to massive floods. Pay attention. It is Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. A continuation of really hot weather, which continues to take place in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The National Weather Service over there, the Meteorological Institute over there, has issued various warnings for rain yesterday due to a cloud seeding program that they started, where they sent drones up into the upper atmosphere and produced electrical shocks into the clouds. light, moderate, and at times even heavy rain was falling in the eastern part of the country, and it appears like the cloud seeding was an effective way to get it to rain. One of the reasons for the cloud seeding, sometimes it's because of a drought, but also temperatures were hitting 122 degrees. Temperatures reached 122 degrees in some spots, and the rain is somewhat effective at lowering those temperatures. This is probably the fourth time or so this past month where they've carried out such a project. Other than that, it is just sunny, very hot, very humid. Temperatures of 105 to 110 degrees for Dubai for the next week. That's equivalent to temperatures in Celsius, like 40 degrees Celsius to about 43 degrees Celsius or so, with heat indices due to the high temperatures of about 45 to 48 degrees Celsius. 115 to 125 degrees Fahrenheit would be the maximum heat indices, with overnight lows well into the 90s. Ocean water temperatures, as we pointed out yesterday, were in the low 90s. They are one of the first countries to carry out a cloud seeding project using drones and using an electrical current as opposed to the chemicals that are used in about 8 states here in the United States. From a meteorological perspective, all the ingredients were there. Everything necessary to produce a heavy rainfall event was there. Apparently, the system also became stationary. It had to have done that. And that's a superman ingredient. That's a superpower ingredient when it comes to a thunderstorm. If you can get a thunderstorm to remain stationary, to give you an idea of what could happen, all you have to do is think back at the Fort Lauderdale incident in Florida, where the rainfall accumulations, we did a whole podcast on it. The following 1 minute is an extract from the Fort Lauderdale episode that we did a year ago. What's completely remarkable is that both floods happened on the same date. It was the anniversary. It was this Fort Lauderdale episode. The floods happened, the episode was done April 16th, 2023. And I don't know if the floods happened then or the episode was made then, but it's the anniversary of one of those. Sunday, April 16th. We have a very spooky event that took place last week in the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. Unbelievable amounts of rain. Nothing like this was really forecasted to happen. Heavy rainfall amounts of 1 to 3 inches is what was forecasted. This was from a stalled front from this low pressure system where a storm just developed and it remained stationary over Fort Lauderdale. And there's enormous amounts of precipitation that came down, 25.91 inches within a 24-hour period or so, which is the rain was falling at the rate of 6 inches an hour at times. People living in Fort Lauderdale apparently have reported as saying that they've never seen floods like this ever. There's never been anything. This is an area that has seen hurricanes, powerful hurricanes in the past. They've never seen anything like this ever. Thunderstorms are just such a powerhouse. They have like natural cloud seeding in it. That's what the lightning does. Lots of lightning over the Dubai area. And this is very much focused on Dubai because that's where the weather stations were. And that is reported to be the world's second busiest airport, according to some news sources. And that airport had to shut down. This is a rainstorm. All the ingredients necessary to produce heavy rain were all there. We had a low pressure system move across very warm bodies of water. We had a jet stream. We had the surface low and the upper low aligned. That happens here in the United States as well. They had hail. They had the thunderstorms. They had cold air aloft, which also helped increase the precipitation rates. And that also probably contributed to the hail falling. So what's the end result? The end result is that the city is reported to have shut down with a description similar to what you would hear about by a nor'easter blizzard in the East Coast. It brought the city to a standstill.
Oh my gosh.
The effect that a blizzard has on those cities, that seems to be the effect that this rainmaker had. And there's so many questions one could ask on this. It's hard to even know where to begin, and I don't really think we have the answers right now. So, question number one is just a question on the climate. Why is it a desert climate if they're right next to such warm water? And all it takes is a thunderstorm. Why don't these events happen more often? They don't, though. And being that they don't, the city's not equipped to deal with drainage of such heavy rainfall. Number two is, could there have been, being that this is a city which is known for its cloud seeding program, could any of this been a result of cloud seeding? So if you go to the meteorological department of that country, you read on their website will say they have 6 aircraft that they use to put salt in the atmosphere. They do not use any chemicals, but they did identify salt as one of the chemicals. What they do is they go into the mountain areas, because the mountain areas is where the cumulus clouds start to form. This type of cloud seeding requires there to first be clouds before anything happens, and most, maybe even all cloud seeding requires that. They go to the mountain areas to produce something like that, to produce the rain. At the time that this event was taking place, they do report they had 6 aircraft up there, but they did not cloud seed the clouds. That's first of all. Secondly, if they would have, the chances are nothing would have changed, because there already was lightning. But they didn't do it, and also there was heavy rain all over the place. Just, it was a little bit heavier in certain areas. Another thing to point out, which is not mentioned on the website, is that they also have a different program called the electric drones. Their website doesn't mention it, but you'll read about it from other news sources, and this is something that is used in the summertime, where the drones go up. There's no chemicals at all. The drones go up into the atmosphere and produce an electric current. To me, it sounds like lightning, and it produces heavy rain. Now, that heavy rain is used to reduce the heat, because the heat is life-threatening. But the cloud seeding program with the salt and the 6 aircraft, that's used to intensify rain. It comes out very interesting, because Israel did a study on cloud seeding, and they concluded that it's not effective. So they have a whole different way to preserve their rain, and they came up with different ways to genetic differences in plants to allow it to grow in a drier climate, and they had a different approach to this. But the United Arab Emirates, probably due to the scorching high humidity they have over there, they found cloud seeding to be very effective, and it looks like their role model could very well be Thailand. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Thailand, and they mention gratitude to him, words of praise to the king of Thailand for going ahead and using this approach over there. So it sounds like that might be their leader, and United Arab Emirates is very motivated, probably because there's 2 reasons. One of them is to just eliminate the life-threatening heat. So temperatures being 110, they drop to maybe 100, something like that, on a summer day. They do that sometimes with electric drones. So although there are some news sources that say that there could have been cloud seeding, but they claim they did not. There was no cloud seeding involved in this. And what you have to realize is that all of the ingredients were there to produce a heavy rainfall naturally. The U.S. would have gotten this, no big deal, no cloud seeding at all. This is we've seen a lot of times where there's thunderstorms. It is an enormous amount of rain, but it happens. 6 to 11 inches of rain. Officially at the Dubai International Airport, the 2-day total was 6.45 inches. 5-point-some of that inches fell in one day. And I believe 0.7 something fell on Monday. 5 point whatever fell on Tuesday, and then the final inch fell on Wednesday. It was something like that. And then you have other areas as well. We mentioned some places that got 11 inches. A couple places in Iran, they got 11 inches. We know its impact on the United Arab Emirates was floods. I don't know the impact it had on the other countries, but you can read about this. It's not in every newspaper, but I'm sure by tomorrow it will be. And AccuWeather will give you more of the statistics, the exact amounts of rain, which would include millimeters as well. This is a city that only gets 3-point-some inches of rain per year, and it is a desert climate. Those are the words that we have to say right now. I wish everyone a wonderful night. Have a Chag Kosher v'Sameach. Take care. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. This podcast can be found on almost every platform where podcasts are available. We have two things going on. We have evaporative cooling and we also have dynamic cooling, and the two are coming together to produce a major snowstorm in the deep south. The only time you could blame cold air on climate change is when it's a result of the stratosphere warming, which is what causes all the Arctic air to come down south. The way to get a 6-inch snowstorm here in the Midwest and in the Southern Plains has always been you need 3 ingredients. It's hard to believe the numbers that are being forecasted. Several additional feet of snow is expected by Monday morning.
Yes!
Hey, we have a special guest on our show. What is your name?
Kitabis.
27.1 barometric pressure. Feet of snow are falling in Japan.
Oh my gosh.
That's a time of celebration. Just Google Weather with Enthusiasm and they're all going to come up.
Hashem made this world